The last few months I've had the opportunity to work for my brother-in-law, who is a carpenter here in town. I'm doing various projects, the most recent of which was a camper conversion of a box truck, which is like a UPS or FedEx style truck. So my brother-in-law did all the designing and the planning that went into it, and myself and a couple other guys that work in his shop came in and helped do some of the actual building of it. And we finished last week, and it's super sweet. So we ran through and did a little tour of all the various components and design features that went into this camper conversion. My brother-in-law is super talented. He has an awesome portfolio of all the things he's done on his Instagram, which I will put as a link in the description. But check out this camper conversion because it's really cool.
This is the Reeves Custom step van. The exterior is Morgan Olson Grumman. It's kind of a Chevy base, and it's 2008. It's been a paint truck and more or less storage unit for the last few years, and we took it about 8 weeks ago and did a full transformation inside and out. So on the outside, what we did was added 4 windows. On the sides, we've got 16 by 22s, and then we got 20 by 24s in the rear. We put an access ladder to the roof, which contains 3 100-watt Renogy solar panels, a surf rack and canoe rack, and a black ASB water pipe. So it's a solar shower, and that's actually got access down on the side through a pneumatic connection and a water pipe. And you've got full access to this shower unit down here. It's essentially just to the rear of the wheel hub, and a blank space that you'll see inside is underneath the bed. I've got it with some pressure right now. So essentially, if you've got it pressurized, you've got a full shower. This is at medium pressure. And on a good hot day, I'd say the sun will get this water up to a warm, if not hot temperature, depending on the climate you're in. Also, while we're here, we put in this FEMA F45 sun awning. It's about 10 feet long, and it cantilevers out 8 feet. And at 8 feet, it's got feet that come down for any type of weather accident. I'll show you kind of a cool feature with the awning. Got our parts in here. So it's right now, you'll see about 9 feet off the ground, but I don't need to get on the ladder to get access to it. It pitches out and descends, so you can get a hand, pull out the legs, and drop it all down. And as I said, this thing comes out to about 8 feet. So that's a good amount of shade on your driver's side here. This houses our awning aperture that you just saw, and it also houses our water pressure access and through pipe, basically from the tank down to the shower head. And it's powered by any air pressure. You could use a bike pump if you have to, but we've got this little jump box that Stanley makes, and it's got jumper cables and compressor. It's a little loud, but that'll offer enough pressure to power a full shower. And I think the pipe contains 8 to 10 gallons, so that's a pretty luxurious shower per day. And it's a spigot up top, so it just fills like a hose, any hose. Yeah. So as I mentioned, it's a paint contractor's van, and the paint contractor is the client who still owns it. So this is its raw form after it gets out of cabinet, and from here it'll go into paint and go to audio stereo place. But essentially this will go touches of white and black here and there. Things like this will get capped with these little white caps. So you've got the doors, come in, got an oak floor. Let's see, starting from the back over, we've got our dry flush toilet, and an upholsterer will be able to provide a removable pad, and it'll be a second seating area. It's got a folding accordion top, a stopper to keep it up, and then it's fully functional. Got this cleat so that it doesn't move around. You uncleat it, pull it out for service, put it back, and once it's done being used, it just goes away, and you never know. So we went with Domatec 30 quart, about 12 plus can capacity unit here. It's got freezing and refrigeration. It's been running now for a few days, and we haven't had our power capacity dip below 70-60%. So the cool thing about that is on the day-to-day in full sunlight, this is fully sustainable as far as the 300 watt energy panels feeding the Goal Zero. We've got fans running, we've got fridges running, lights on. I've hooked up an industrial fan, and nothing will drain the battery. Like if the sun's fully out, it just stays at 100% until you're done, and then it stores it. Moving on this side, our galley here. So this is a cooler in a shroud, and I went with the Canyon roto-molded. It's a nice 3-inch thick cooler. It holds ice for, it says, 10 days. About the same as any other roto-molded, Yeti, Pelican type of thing. When this top is off, and that's in access, or if you're in meal mode, it's pretty cool. It comes down to this magnetized gusset system. So we can pull our drop leaves, lock it into place on that cleat, and provides a suitable amount of stability. So that's a good workstation, it's a good eating station for one. And when it's in motion or in storage, it just cleats in right there. We've got a lower access point here for large storage, just to get us to the right height. That's on top of our wheel hub there. Galley, fully functional sink with a lot of black hardware. Under this cutting board, there's a propane stove. Propane and water are underneath, and they're all self-contained. We didn't want to mess around with too much of the underhole, with like black water tanks and water sources. So convenience, yes and no. Basically, I've got 2 simple jerry cans, one fresh, one gray water. The pump takes it out of the fresh, the drain puts it back into the gray water, and those get removed by hand for water use. Over to the propane, we've got this feeding the stove. This tree goes stove. This line goes to the exterior in case you want to put a standard barbecue to the side of the vehicle. And there's also a propane heater down here, which it's rated for indoor use. It's got this special filter. So you essentially turn on your propane, ignite it, and it'll provide heat for the entire home here. Pretty cool little unit. Yeah, and luckily it's one of my first big propane jobs, and there's no leaks. Same with the water, which is unique in my experience. Finally, at the end of the galley, we have these access drawers that finish us out for any sort of cooking utensils, food supplies, the like, and the world's smallest drop leaf. Moving forward, the chairs here in the front will be switched, and your standard step van chair is going to have a spinner so that you can basically sit forward or sit in reverse. This drops down for a work/meal station. Yeah, so that's the cab line. Above the cab, we have this huge loft space that we built out. It's about 13 inches deep, 4 feet by 7 feet, and in the perfect world you could sleep someone up here. It's a little narrow for that, but it'll carry camping supplies for a family of 6. Yeah, good long-term storage there. Everything's on click latches, basically like these 5-pound poles. You'll see them pop up first on any RV latch guide or RV latch search on Amazon. And we did go with a bumper catch, which would be like a standard household touchless catch, along with drawer rails that had a push stop. And we noticed that in motion, the swaying of the vehicle would essentially like deactivate that catch. So on all of the drawers, we placed 1 to 2 of these catches, and we replaced the bumper catches with these 5-pound pull catches. So it kind of clicks in, and it's got some resistance up to about 5 pounds. And 5 pounds is a pretty good amount. Aside from like a loose bowling ball, there's not a lot that's been able to rattle these open, which I've been pretty satisfied with. So on this end, opposite our galley, it's sort of your storage and dresser area. I guess we designed these 3 drawers to be dressers for travel, where you could put clothes, you could put personal items. It could also be overflow galley if you have a lot of food. Simple storage areas. Up here is the power brain. So this is the Goal Zero. We went with the lithium 1400. This is where all the AC and DC runs to. This is where the fridge comes. This is where these fans come over to, and all of the house lights. And as I said before, with everything running in full sun, it just won't quit. Like, it doesn't stay below 90. Since we had the fridge running overnight, it's at 83 right now, and that'll climb up slowly as the sun is out. Yeah, just haven't been able to kill it yet. It's a good unit, and it's plug and play. You basically just take it off the shelf and put everything into it. There's no extra bells and whistles. It's not chainable because it's lithium, but Goal Zero does carry acid battery versions that you can chain to other like deep cell batteries. And our top bulkhead wall, fabbed out these plates for our powerhouse. We had to pull it out from the side of the wall because this unit goes about 2 inches deep, but we've got USB inlets, your standard 12-volt inlet. These switches control the lights, and this unit comes with a voltage meter, which is pretty handy actually, knowing exactly how much you're using and how much you might have left. Decided to run AC alongside it just for convenience, in case you want to have a standard laptop or a blender or any sort of coffee maker. We can do that on these here, and then when you're trying to conserve power charging USB or DC items, that's when you come up to the DC. So moving on to our conversion couch. This is a 3-seater couch that'll provide 2 sleeper. It goes into a full size. One of the cool things about this, it's a piano key sliding style. It's seen in a lot of online threads, a lot of DIY pictures, and the way we did it, I think, was one of the best ways I've seen it done so far. We have a drop leaf back here that sits on top of the bottom cushion, and that provides a nice 10-degree pitch for when you're sitting. You don't have a 90-degree pitch, so it feels like any couch. And it pulls out to a full-size bed. So it'll come all the way, and then some. You see here, we've filled up the whole space with our full-size bed. I'll show you the underside. I've always seen this photo online, but I've never seen anybody actually explain how it works. You've got interlocking slats. When it's closed, it's full surface. When it's expanded, it's spaced out to about what you'd see on a standard household bed. This top strap locks in this unit to prevent movement from here. This one that's fastened into the wall has a lower support. You'll see there with the feet on the end. So it moves freely on its own. There's no extra hardware. You could do this. I've done this with 2x4s. You don't need to buy any special drawer hinges. It just slides out, it slides in. It's like a transformable surface. Once it's in, the weight of it and the weight of the bedding pretty much keeps it from sliding out. Outside of that, we did some work to the cab up here. It's still in progress. If you're going to do a step van conversion, you're going to want to do this, unfortunately. What we did was take Reflectix, and we took fat mat. This is essentially like foil tape. Covered that over every surface and some of this padded fat mat. And we put it inside the engine cabin against the firewall in the rear, and it's heat resistant. It's made to do what it's doing right now. And applying this brought the noise range down incredibly. Before this was in, you had a constant engine drone, and it was difficult to maintain a conversation. With this in, and the carpet that'll eventually be there, it almost makes it like any standard Chevy van or Econoline van. So yeah, it's pretty quiet. We were able to maintain some of the existing electrical for the cargo in the rear. So in addition to the house lights back there that run off the Goal Zero, there's also these cabin lights that run off of the car, and now those will run off car battery and add additional light when needed. Oh, and I guess one cool feature was, since it's a big van with a lot of blind spots, we put in one of my favorite additions, rear view camera. It's really nice to see the entire road behind you when you can't or don't want to rely on your mirrors, and it definitely highlights all the blind spots you don't have. So yeah, I think that's everything.
The camera.